and then you back out and get the credits. It's pretty late. Yeah, I'm done now. I'm finished now. So whilst the credits roll, that was pretty fucking good.
Do not count.
That was pretty fucking good. Was it as good as Eternal? Probably not. But Eternals, it's very different. They're kind of hard to compare in a lot of ways. This game tries to do a lot of new stuff, and I don't just mean in the gameplay itself, though there is a lot of things in the gameplay. If we talk about, obviously the main thing is the shield and everything around that. And then you've got the Atlan mech and the dragon, which before I came into this game I was a little bit skeptical about, but I think both of them worked well. My issue with the dragon was that sometimes it was just a little bit like I wanted to get all the secrets whilst I was going through, and it wasn't clear with the dragon because the dragon maps really showed you nothing. So some of the dragon levels I spent like a lot of time just flying about, just making sure I didn't miss anything. And that was that got a little bit boring at times, but it wasn't much, and the dragon itself was pretty fun. It was pretty basic, but it allowed for some really cool level designs and some really cool, like, I don't know, like scenes, I guess. I don't know what you'd say. Some just epic set pieces, just some fucking really cool stuff. Obviously the game's still coming out with updates. There's going to be tweaks. They're adding more sliders and like settings options for the game's difficulty and everything else. I'm hoping they do something for weapon switching, because that's gameplay wise, weapon switching was my one big gripe. It didn't need to be like Eternal, but it was like the opposite of Eternal, like, but not really in a good way. I didn't like how, yeah, you have, I've mentioned it a couple of times, but you got the two weapon types. But it's not like in Eternal. You've got one weapon that has two mods, and the mod switching is really quick. And yeah, like it's just very different. And not in the best way in that aspect. Because it's the same with 2016 actually, because you can just change between things like really quickly, and I'm not asking it to be that quick, but it often felt like if I was going up against something like a cyber demon or a Komodo or just anything that's bigger like a heavy demon, I needed to get out the weapon I wanted to fight it with before I approached it. And if you're up close and personal with it, like the game wants you to be all the time, like a lot of the time, you haven't got the time and room to switch weapons. Like, it leaves you vulnerable as that vulnerability window. If you didn't have the vulnerability window whilst you were switching weapons, maybe it'd be different. But when you're switching weapons, he also puts his shield down, so you do have a vulnerability window, and that is annoying. There was a couple of times where as I died to things where I just, like, I didn't really fucking know what the fuck was going on. Like, it's like things just coming up behind you and stuff, but that is what it is. That's probably just a skill issue more than anything. You know, same shit happened in Eternal when I first played that. The story was cool. It was there's probably a lot for me to know about the story, because I didn't go through and read the codexes, because I didn't want to sit here and read whilst I was streaming. The Cacodemons, I didn't hate the Cacodemons. I think if they didn't shield themselves during their little wall phase, they would have been okay. The fact that they kind of defended themselves during that phase was a little bit annoying. I didn't hate them. I didn't love how they looked. I didn't like the fucking teleporting thing that spawned a fucking clone of itself. I thought that was annoying. I thought the invisible ones were really annoying too. I don't know why, because mechanically they were pretty much the same as the normal imps. But they were, I don't know, they just fucking come out of nowhere, and I get that that's kind of the point, but they just kind of got annoying. I don't think many of the enemy types I disliked. I think, yeah, those two, the Invisible Imp and the fucking other thing, I can't even remember what it's called. Yeah, I didn't mind the Cacodemon. I quite liked the new Super Heavies. Like the Agadon Hunter is really cool, and obviously you fight the Agadon Hunter again in Eternal, but it's very, very different. But that's cool to see that, because there is some lore in Eternal about how the Doom Hunter demon became, you know, Doom Hunter is the Agadon, and that's a cool connection there, because yeah, it's just cool that they did that, and they were like, oh, we're actually gonna put this demon in this game, the original version of the demon. I was like, yeah, that's fucking cool. I enjoyed that. Yeah, the gameplay was fire. I'm curious as to what sort of tricks are going to come out, and also what sort of things they're going to change. I'm really looking forward to master levels. The music was not as good as the last two games. A lot of the time it didn't feel as a lot of the time it didn't feel as present either. Like it almost, like I was almost kind of losing the music a lot of the time. There was some fights and some sections where the music went fucking hard and the music was really good, but it was not, you know, it's kind of hard for them because the bar was set so high by Mick Gordon in the last two games. So fucking high. And I don't really think there was any massively memorable tunes in this one. But we have got the soundtrack. We might have a little look at the art book in a second, because I do have that. We've got a digital art book and soundtrack, so maybe we'll have a little look at that in a second, because I've had a tiny little look through and some of it's really cool. Yeah. I don't think it's as good as Eternal, but I'm also a little bit biased, and Eternal's like, I've just played it so much that, like, if I was to compare my first playthrough of this to my first playthrough of Eternal, maybe it would be different. But I just have such a different time with Eternal now than I did when I first played it, and it will probably be the same with this game when harder content comes out and I get better at the combat. So maybe that'll change. Because for Eternal, though it definitely has its flaws, I can't help but to give that game a 10 out of 10 for its combat alone. For this game, I'd probably say 9. I would probably give it a good 9. I think the combat was pretty fucking fire. I didn't like, so there's quite a lot of water stuff, which made sense with the Cosmic Realm, but like, you were just really slow in the water, and there was nothing to really do in the water. So that got a little bit meh at times. Obviously loved all the Cosmic Realm stuff, the addition of Cthulhu, loved it. Those boss fights were great, it just needed more boss fights. Like, you could have made the Witch a separate boss on her own. Those last two levels should have been switched around, I agree with that. The fucking Fat Maker could have been earlier in the game, there was no real need for him to be alive that long. And you could have done fucking anything. I mean, you could have made up any fucking demon to fight us for a big boss. Like, they could have done fucking anything. And every boss that was in the game up until the end was just the champions, which didn't really feel like bosses, to be honest. I didn't like the puzzles. They can really grind the pace down to a halt on the bigger levels. Yeah, some of the bigger levels were a bit more... Yeah, they did feel a bit slow at times. I can't say I disliked it. I think probably the answer to that would just be to just make it a bit more fun whilst you're still exploring, whilst you're looking for things. Like, just have enemies respawning and stuff, so you've still got stuff to fight, because in some levels you end up killing everything and then you're looking for secrets and stuff in this big empty zone, and it's just, yeah. It would have also made a big difference if there was a way to go a little bit faster. The sprint's nice, but it's still not fast. I quite liked the puzzles themselves. But yeah, looking for them all in every level did sometimes get a bit meh. I do agree with that. I didn't really care for any of the characters apart from the Doomslayer and Azarak, and the Witch was cool. I liked the Witch. In terms of the Sentinels and Thyra, was it? Who was the one? What was her name? I can't even fucking remember. I didn't really care for many of those very much. But at the same time, Doom game's not about the story. This is kind of a new thing they were trying with this one. They were going deeper into the lore because they kind of did it with Eternal, but through the Codex, and some people complained about it. I didn't dislike what was here. I didn't think the story was necessarily phenomenal or anything, but it went to some really fucking epic places. So there was, I wouldn't say there was anything necessarily bad about it. The story itself was just a bit mid. But I also don't really care, because it's a fucking Doom game. You don't play them for the story. Sometimes I wanted the hordes to be bigger. Yeah, you wait until we get master levels, bro. That's coming. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. The master levels go so hard. They go so fucking hard. You will get armies of enemies in those levels, I am sure. That is going to be some post-launch content that they've already confirmed. They've already confirmed we're getting master levels. But when I play Eternal now, if I'm not playing mods, I'm always playing master levels because they're so fun. They're so good, and there's so much shit to fight. They're like, it's not like the normal levels times 2. It's like the normal levels times fucking 10. They're like, they go overboard with the master levels. So I don't have any fear that they're not, because I had the same thing where it was like, yeah, I'd like to see a few more enemies here, but my fucking PC is struggling to take that as it was at times. But we will get bigger, meatier fights. I know what'll happen. I already see people making mods that give you everything at once. Oh, I'm pretty sure you can already do that through console commands. Like, you can already bring up the console. I'm pretty sure that's probably already a thing. You can do it in Eternal just through the commands. You don't even need mods for it. The shield runes were cool. Actually, I did quite like the shield runes, but they felt a little bit unbalanced. Yeah, it was the same with Eternal. You could get the handgun. There was a handgun you could get in Eternal through the console command that just wasn't in the game. Yeah, the modding communities go fucking hard with these games as well. I modded the fuck out of Eternal. Yeah, really good. I give it a 9 out of 10. I could probably knock it down a little bit based on a couple of things, but it's a Doom game. I'm just basing it on the gameplay alone and the fact that I know that all the future updates are going to be very gameplay heavy. 8 out of 10. Yeah, I think that's fair. I do think on the replay, things like the dragon and the swimming will get really boring. But for a first-time playthrough, it was fine. I enjoyed it all. The swimming was a bit boring, but it was fine. Some balance issues hurt the flow. I felt that at times, but it's kind of hard to judge because I also got better as the game went on. Like, during the middle of the game, there was a moment where I was like, fuck, I'm like struggling with this. And then I came back and played a bit more, and it was like, oh no, it's fine, it's just a skill issue. But they're going to be doing tweaking and stuff. There's going to be more updates, a lot more updates to come, I'm sure. And we're already getting more stuff in the settings menu and stuff, so we know there's going to be more to come in that area. Possibly new weapons and stuff as well. Doom Eternal, its DLC is what took the lore overboard. Like, Eternal's main campaign in terms of the lore isn't that overboard. It's the DLC that pushes it to the edge. And the DLC for Eternal's fucking sick. It's so good. And hopefully they do a similar thing to this. Eternal had 2. I'd like 2 for this. Whether we'll get 2, I don't know. There was a couple of bugs. The map was really annoying quite frequently. It was only towards the end of the game that I actually figured out what the fuck was happening with it, but I often found myself like, why can't I control the map properly? Like, what the fuck is happening? But I'm sure that'll get patched. And there was a couple of times where I'd do something and my shield would just be gone. Not because it was broken. It happened in the last level. I don't know if you saw it. But like, my shield was just not working. But I'm sure those things will all get patched out, so. All the Cthulhu's, yeah, I thought that was a bit weird. Like, he was, especially at the end, when he was like, oh, if I'm still here, we can still raise the old one, we can still bring the old one back. But at one point, we saw 3 of them. I'm like, that confused me a little bit. Maybe that's explained in the codex a little bit, or maybe something just, I don't know, maybe I just didn't catch on to something, but I did think 3 Cthulhu's was a little bit weird. But yeah, generally, very much enjoyed it. I'm very excited to see what's to come. Those are some long credits, huh? Skin acquired, that's really similar to everything else we've got. Nightmare skin, that's pretty cool, I guess. I was expecting something better, but yeah, you get the gold skin for doing it on Ultra Nightmare. I will be attempting that at some point, but I probably won't be attempting that until they've brought master levels out and stuff, so I can like really master the game. Because I feel like Ultra Nightmare is going to be really hard in this game. It was really hard in Eternal. It was silly hard, and there's always specific moments, and you really gotta learn like specific fights and stuff. There's like, you know, you get all your run killers and stuff.